Dumalang Sambanani, hello South Africa. A very warm welcome to your #1 youth current affairs show, Expressions, of course. This is definitely the place for you to air your views. I'm your host, Jacqueline Mapala.
Simbingelela sinamukele mina ngumxolisi wakamasango. Sesingenile ke kwinyanga kaNelson Mandela. That's July of every month. Siyazi ke ukuthi we commemorate as well as celebrate the rich legacy that Utata Madiba has left us, uMzansi Africa, but as well as the global community. What do you have to say about the conversations we're having namhlanje ohlelweni as we ask you the big question, are young people doing enough to celebrate, or are they impacting positive change in their communities? That's a big question, namhlanje.
Yes, and of course, as we explore that around whether young people are doing enough to make a positive impact in their communities, we have to remind you that the Nelson Mandela Month and Nelson Mandela Day theme for this year is actually around the fact that young people can do what they can, where they are, with what they have. And I think that's a very important way to actually commemorate and kickstart this particular month. And what we're going to be doing is spotlighting young people who are doing exactly just that.
Yep, at the back of that, we just had to find out first-hand accounts. Khona Nelson Mandela Foundation, lapho siyakhulumisana khona labantu that are responsible for initiatives around the Nelson Mandela Month. Ukuze ukuthi ngabe bona bathini about the rich legacy Utata has left us. Do take a look. Do what you can with what you have where you are. Sona ngisiqubulo sakulo nyaka se Nelson Mandela Day, which is why sizitholela namhlanje sila Nelson Mandela Foundation lapho sobe sikhulumisana khona no Sylvia Graham, who is from the Nelson Mandela Foundation, to find out ukuthi ngabe bona this year kwenzakalani around commemoration of this important day. Sambe siyombona. Talk to us about the motivation behind this year's theme.
Thank you so much for having me, and welcome to the Nelson Mandela Foundation. So the theme for this year is do what you can with what you have where you are. And the thinking behind it is really to have an all encapsulating theme that speaks to different sectors of society. What we've done as the Nelson Mandela Foundation and Mandela Day in particular is focused our efforts on food and nutrition work. And this is underpinned by 3 pillars, particularly encouraging people to plant vegetable gardens. These are community gardens as well as backyard gardens, plant fruit trees, and this then shows the intersection between climate change as well as food security, and then participate in positive climate action. So just looking at these priorities that we have, we're saying to South Africans and the global community, do what you can with what you have. But as the foundation, we'll be looking at these 3 pillars that I just mentioned.
So on Expressions today, we are asking, are young people doing enough to commemorate and observe Nelson Mandela Month? What's your take on that?
I think absolutely. Like as mentioned around the theme, it's doing what is possible within your community. I think there are very many young people that realize and understand that there's a lot to be done. We're faced by many challenges, and food security is one of them that we've mentioned. In the work that we've done, we've come across young farmers that are involved at grassroots level, but also people that are farming at very large scales. So in different sectors, we're seeing that people are seeing the issues that face them within their respective communities and are participating. I think what July does for us is offer us an opportunity to galvanize support from different sectors of society. So during the month of July, we're able to engage with government, we're able to engage with corporates, as well as young people that are doing the work continuously, whether it's July or not.
So why should we continue celebrating and observing Nelson Mandela Month?
I think, understanding that the 18th of July is Tata's birthday, and he left us with a very important mandate, which is rather than celebrating his birthday in an extravagant way, it's to plow back into society. So understanding that mandate and understanding what Tata did for us as, South Africans and as the global community, I think it's an opportunity to tap into those values in order to build a South Africa that will benefit us as well as future generations.
What's your words of inspiration to young people right now watching the program?
I think there's a lot that still needs to be done. So the little that we can do and the little opportunities that we have access to go a long way. But it's also important to band together. I think it's more difficult to make a difference as an individual, but if we come together collectively, then we're able to try and really make a difference.
Hello Expressions, my name is Mandela Month and I will be your street journal for today. And today we are at the Nelson Mandela Foundation and I will be speaking to some of my colleagues around the importance of Nelson Mandela's legacy. As a young person that works at the Nelson Mandela Foundation, what does Mandela Day mean to you?
Mandela Day means to me coming together as a nation.
I feel like with every generation there is a responsibility for those young people to carry on the baton of trying to improve social inequity.
The struggle still continues and there is still that inequality that still exists in the world.
I don't think young people are doing enough. I feel like inequality is just getting deeper and deeper. The issues of racism are just widening.
We as a nation need to then find different measures to educate ourselves and then find ways also to try and make a better living situation or circumstances for ourselves.
The theme for Mandela Day 2022 is do what you can with what you have where you are. It's important for us to actualize this theme for ourselves as individuals because we are so used to blaming the aid on someone else. With this theme, we're inspired to be the vessels of change.
So the big question ohlelweni namhlanje, are young people doing enough to impact a positive change emphakathini yangakibo? What are you doing now? Do let us know enkundleni zethu zokuxhumana. It's Expressions_10 on Twitter as well as the other social media platforms. Siyabuya right after this.
Mandela Day is definitely relevant. It will always be relevant in this country. He's a big part of this country and his legend will live on.
As a young person, Mandela Day is a very important day to me. And I think it will be a very important day to the future generation to come.
It means we should do good for the community, but then I feel like Mandela Day should be every day.
I think like Mandela Day is relevant today because as black people right now, like we have that freedom. See, we can go like where white people go.
It reminds the current generation, where does South Africa come from?
Before, bengazi ukuthi sayicelebrate Mandela Day, kubheka amakheke, emashelter, charity, abantu estradeni baphekela ukudla. But manje it's just a normal day.
I don't even know when it is, so that on its own should tell you that it's not a day that has any significance in the time that we live in now.
Mandela Day to me is going to be an ordinary day because, I mean, our leaders have fought for themselves, not for the country.
No, I don't think Mandela but was some hopeful sister, to be honest. Everybody's thinking about themselves.
We must celebrate Mandela Day because we have been celebrating it. Why should we stop now?
Welcome back. You're still watching your #1 youth current affairs show, Expressions. We are kick-starting Mandela Month here on the show and, of course, putting a very important spotlight on young people who are making a difference in the spaces that they occupy. Remember, our poll question is, are young people doing enough to make a positive impact in their communities? Take a look at this insert that we prepared for you. We're on location in Braamfontein, Johannesburg. Your favorite youth current affairs show is commemorating Mandela Month. Now, we are putting a very important spotlight on young people and organizations that are making a positive impact in their community and, of course, continuing the powerful legacy of Nelson Mandela. Now, we're going to go inside and meet some of the people who are involved in Activate Change Drivers, which is a powerful organization that is empowering young people. Let's go inside and meet them.
Activate Change Drivers is a youth development program. It was established in 2012 with the aim of building the capacity of young people to drive social change. So we have a training program that we've been running over the last 10 years that looks at equipping young people with a set of knowledge and skills that makes it possible for them to run effective community-based initiatives that are aimed at addressing some of the most pressing challenges that are facing the country today.
Can you tell us a little bit about the beneficiaries? Where do they come from? How do you identify them? And what basically allows them to be qualified to be part of the program and assistance that you provide?
Okay, so our beneficiaries that activate, we usually call them activators. So these are young people that are already entrenched in their own communities, doing their own community work, whether it be social or in the economic space. So how do we identify them? It's mainly through the work that they already are doing in communities. So we always focus a lot around young people that are from disadvantaged areas, whether it be peri-urban or rural communities, and rural communities intentional because we also understand services are not specifically rendered in those spaces. We believe at Activate, young people have the power. And it's not to say that we are trying to say the power needs to go to young people, but it's to say how can young people also contribute to the change that we all want to see in the country or even in the world as well. So us having young people in the forefront also gives young people the opportunity to engage in spaces, civic spaces, where they would not necessarily often see in, right? So for us, it's mainly that, but also at the same time, we do believe our young people can also make a change. And the change that needs to be made needs to start with them.
For us this month, we want to celebrate the role that young people are playing in driving social change. And as part of that, we will be launching what we call the Activate Network Fund, where we are going to give back to some of these young people. So as a young person, I'm really inspired by the life of Nelson Mandela and the legacy that he has left us as a country. I think he committed his life to working towards ensuring that we achieve our freedom as a country, and that demanded him to take action as a young person himself then, and that inspires us as young people today who are facing many challenges to say what is it that we can do to actively work towards ensuring that we address these challenges and we achieve social change.
We're on location in Ekenhof, where we are going to be showcasing another young person who's doing extraordinary work on the ground and continuing the important legacy of Nelson Mandela and what he stands for when it comes to making a positive impact in our communities.
Wow, the last time we met, we were doing food parcel distribution in Orlando, Soweto. And I can say safely that Arise Leaders has grown into the platform that it was intended to become upon its inception. We've looked at how young people's lives can be transformed through little random acts of kindness. And you know, we learned a lot through the food parcel distribution, handling the community in Soweto, in Orlando, in Mbuzini. And we started to see that, you know, young people wanted access to opportunities, and we thought, how can we make this possible?
So I just want to find out from you. I mean, the theme for Mandela Month, the theme for Mandela Day is do what you can with what you have, where you are. What does that mean for you as a young person on the ground who is making an impact?
So with the Zotto Koza Foundation, we've also entered into an MOU with the SWGC, which is the Soweto Western Gauteng College, and we want to skill every single student there and equip them with exposure to access to industry. We've also entered into agreement with different corporates such as Tasty Water, which is our manufacturing partner for water, right? They've got access to a full stream which is on their 90-hectare property, and trainees are going to be learning how to bottle water, produce a production line, and distribute to a client base.
From the point of view of us as Tasty, we are really here to give the younger generation an opportunity, you know, to equip themselves.
I believe it's important for businesses to come in and give opportunities to the disadvantaged people and people who never had a chance in life.
I believe that young people are now starting to be heard. There's a lot of people that are standing up for their communities. There's a lot of individuals who've taken it upon themselves to be in the firing line, you know, to be in dangerous situations to make the change. And that's what it takes. You know, it takes very bold action to transform the natural environment.
Yo, Mundomosha, I'm so inspired to really see what young people in South Africa are doing, ikakhulukazi around this month. Can't we just make it continuous and make it 365 days a year? Do good, Mundomosha. But anyway, I'm getting inspired. Let's just quickly take a quick break and do let us know what you have to say as we ask you, are young people doing enough to impact positive change in their communities? Siyabuya khona manje.
Mandela Day ngiyacabanga ukuthi balekile ukuthi celebrate like every Mandela Day because uMandela uyena umuntu owasiza kakhulu wasilwelela inkululeko.
To say there is Mandela Day, something new. I had actually forgot about that.
I'm not like really big on Mandela Day. I feel like the last time I celebrated it was in primary and we were kind of forced to do something for Mandela Day in primary.
On Mandela Day, usually I was spending time with my family and stuff, but this year I want to make it different. I want to donate my old clothes to, you know, the charities.
What will I be doing on Mandela Day? I'm not sure because it's just a normal day. It's just like any other day. Monday, Tuesday and Sunday, yeah.
Every day should be a Mandela Day. We should be doing something for our community. But I think the significance has been lost.
I was once involved. Mogoring retsa di blanket, ra roka, if it's about roka wa roka, re collecta dieta, re risa ko those less privileged homes. But no isolate. I think it's because of Corona.
I think Nelson Mandela Day should be relevant because Tata has made a huge contribution to us South Africans, because if it wasn't for Tata, we wouldn't have been here right now.
On Mandela Day, I will probably be visiting a charity because a friend of mine owns a non-profit organization that gives out free clothes and food.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, you are watching Expressions. As you know, this is definitely the place for you to air your views. We are putting a very important spotlight on young people who are truly making a difference in their communities. Remember, we are commemorating Mandela Month, and it's our kickstart in terms of our show. And the theme that they have for 2022 is that you can do what you can with what you have where you are. We continue with more stories of young people who are doing exactly that and who are showing the significance of the legacy of Utata Nelson Mandela. Take a look at this insert. Lily too, a warm welcome to Expressions.
Thank you. Machoki, tell us a little bit about, who you are, the organization that you represent, but specifically, what do you guys do as an organization?
All right, my name is Shoki. I'm from Outreach Foundation based in Hillbrow. One of our main work is to drive sustainability, We are for the youth. Our vision is to make sure that the youth actually strives. Our vision is to make sure that the youth gets opportunities. Our vision is to make sure that even the youth that, if you go to a varsity, you need matric, right? But we also try to give a hand to those who don't have matric by offering short courses, by offering different types of short courses, like I said before, that help youth who don't have matric.
Most of the time I love to praise myself. I'm a young person who believes that every young person, they have ability and talent. That should be valued. That's where I come. I'm a creative artist, so I use my art, to provoke, to break boundaries. I feel like we young people, we are the future of this country. So with art, we can tell stories. With art, we can fight every social issues.
What areas have you started to use your art to make an impact?
The first one is in Limpopo. That's where I use my art most of the time. I use my art to tell stories because they are most of stories of our people, but they're not told. I also use my art to tackle issues when it comes to rape, when it comes to abuse, when it comes to suicide. So I always make sure I use my art to tackle those issues in Limpopo because there are young people who are depressed, there are young people who are violated, there are young people who are not supported. So with my art, I always strive try to find ways to use, and also in Gauteng, I get an opportunity from Shoki here in Outreach. They always invite me when there's something, then that's why I also like use my art to voice out. And I'm also a youth capital campaigner. I also like use my art to speak about issues on unemployment side, you know. I also like speak about, I use my art to speak about like how unemployment affects young people, reduce red tape, you know, break boundaries.
What does Mandela Month mean to you? What does the legacy of Madiba mean to you as young people? I think, let me start with Shoki.
You know, one thing about me is that I love youth. Where there is youth, I am there. You know, it does not matter whether I'm here, I'm at home, I'm in a different space. As long as there's youth involved, it fulfills me. So, you know, Mandela Month actually, it brings that whole thing back to say, remember, this is where we come from, and we as the youth need to carry it, and we as the youth are the ones who need to drive this boat to a better place.
For me, it means unity. It means like so we need to come together and take Utata Mandela as an example and use what he did to fight. Because I believe if like we young people we unite, we will be able to tackle any issue.
On location in Soweto, and the lady next to me is another one of those really phenomenal young people. So Tiri, very warm welcome to Expressions.
Thanks for having me. Hey.
So tell us a little bit about the work that you do.
Yeah, so basically we are in the education sector. We are a training and skills development company. It's called Learner Centered. And then in Learner Centered, we focus on ECD education, early childhood education. So we work with creches, mainly unregistered creches or home-based creches. And what we want to do is equip ECD practitioners or childcare practitioners with skills that will enable them to at least give quality education to children from low-income backgrounds, doing storytelling, puppets, that kind of stuff as well. So that's what we actually really focus on. In an ECD center where maybe a child is eventually paying 300, obviously parents don't have much, but they wish for their child to get quality education from, you know, when they are 1 year or that kind of age.
And as we commemorate and we celebrate Mandela Month, what does this mean for you? What does the legacy of Madiba actually mean for you as a young person who is making a positive impact in her community?
So I've just seen that, you know, I need to be tenacious in following what I feel is true to me, in terms not even also my passion, but in terms of your calling. It is important to stick to that and follow through to that. But because when you are serving a lot, sometimes you do become discouraged, be it because of rejections or whatever, but to stay true to your calling, as Madiba did, stay true to his calling and wanting to see a change.
Samko, we've come to the end of today's episode. My goodness, young people on the ground, you're making us proud, you are inspiring us. And I think if Utata was alive, he would be so happy that despite some of the odds that young people have actually encountered throughout COVID, they are still out there making an impact and making a difference in their communities. Mutomi, young person, please make sure that you partake in what's going to be happening on the 18th of July. Make sure that you're part of the difference and the change, right?
Indeed. Signed, sealed, and delivered. We've brought you Nelson Mandela Month with a bang. Expressions. And remember, it's just those small efforts. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't even have to spend money. It's just those small efforts that really make a difference in Pagatini Wangagin. Thank you so much for watching. From all of us here at Expressions, in Fisela Upsugu Obuhle, Nisale Gahle.
Yes.
Tabango Africa's playing us out.
Adios, muchachos. Bye.
Cheers.
Young people fight for your dreams. Young people believe in yourself. Muswa e khantsha gore kwa ena mang, muswa e khantsha ka merero ya badimo ba geno, muswa e khantsha gore o tswa kae gobane o na le matla, muswa o koloi, muswa o petrol. With your power, with your energy, you can break boundaries. Young person, believe in yourself.